morning, students. Today I am going to take up Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 1. Macbeth is a historical and a tragedy. This play, uh, you will see, has much of bloodshed. The play, the scene for one opens, it's an opening scene which is very important. And amidst the thunder and lightning in a desolate place, these witches are seen. Three witches are seen. First witch, when shall we three meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain? So the first witch asks the other witches, when are we going to meet again? Is it in the midst of confusion of nature? Because rain, lightning, thunder, these are all the indications of nature. So the second witch says, when the hurly-burly is done, when the hurly-burly is done, that is when the confusion, the noise of the battle that is being fought, when that is over, then we shall meet. When the battle is lost and won, that is one party wins the battle and the other loses it. Then third witch says, that will be at the set of sun. So that will be before the setting of the sun. Where the place? Okay, what is the place? So now you see the setting of time and the setting of place is decided. So it will be uh, after the sunset. No, before the sunset. Means before the sunset. And what is the place? Upon the heath. So it will be upon the heath. Heath is a wasteland. Third witch, there to meet with Macbeth. Till now, Macbeth's name was not mentioned, but here the third witch makes a mention of um, Macbeth. That means Macbeth is going to get affected by the presence of these witches later. And you know, these witches are evil. So the evil will only beget evil. So that means these evil spirits or these witches, they are going to cast an evil spell on Macbeth, and we will see that his life, which was so peaceful, which was so full of valor, so full of glamour, and he was enjoying his life, but that would be turned absolutely disturbed because of these witches. Then first witch says, I come Grey Malkin. Now Grey Malkin is the name of a cat. So the witch has a pet. Do you keep pets? Do you like cats? Suppose you have that cat and then witch comes, hey, this is my cat. So the cat seems to be calling, and the first witch says, I'm coming, Grey Malkin. Then second witch, Paddock calls. Paddock is the in those days, of course now the meaning has changed, but Paddock means a frog, a toad. So the second witch has a pet that is a toad or a frog. So second witch says, even Paddock is calling me. So third witch says, anon, that is coming soon. And then all together say, fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and fill the air. Just mark the rhyming scheme, the rhyme, fair and air. That's the rhyming. So it's not only significant for the rhyme, but it is also significant of the intentions or the nature of these witches. What is fair is foul. That is, whatever is fair to us or to the world is foul, is evil to them. And whatever is foul is to us or to the world, it is fair to them. So these lines are very important. They hover through the fog and fill the air. That is, these things, foul is fair and fair is foul. This hovers, that is, this flits across the fog and fill the air. Why the fill the air? Because these are filthy creatures. Now you see the first scene is a very nauseating, filthy, dirty environment, and because it's a desert place and it's the meeting place of these the three witches, and witches are evil incarnation. End of scene 1. Now it is scene 2. This alarm within, that is, there is some sound within. Then we see Duncan, the King of Scotland, Malcolm Donalbain, his sons, Lennox, uh, with attendants, meeting a bleeding sergeant. Duncan, what bloody man is that? So Duncan asks, who is that bleeding man? Now here Duncan, okay, he is the king. But I would like to say that this king is a very passive kind of person. He is not that smart. He is asking others, who is that bleeding man? And then his sons would answer. So this shows that he is very casual, very passive kind of person. And so he's asking, who is that bleeding man? Imagine he's a sergeant and is coming from the battlefield. So it is understood that a sergeant coming from a battlefield must have got hurt, must have got wounded, and is coming. But he's asking, Duncan is asking, what bloody man is that? He can report as seemeth by his plight. Plight means his condition. He can report as seemeth by his plight of the revolt, the newest state. His condition suggests that he is coming from the battlefield and he can report about the latest developments of the battle. So he's very keen to know. Actually, the king should know, king should be informed what is happening. And now this bleeding sergeant is going to hopefully tell him the state of the battle. Malcolm, his son. This is Duncan's son. He says, this is the sergeant. This is the sergeant who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought. That is, who fought sincerely and courageously. Good and hardy soldier fought against my captivity in order to save me from my captivity. Otherwise, there was danger of Malcolm being taken a prisoner of war. So in the process of saving Malcolm from being taken as a prisoner, he got wounded. The sergeant got wounded. So Malcolm is naturally grateful to him. Say to the king the knowledge of the broil. And then, he greets the wounded soldier and asks him to tell the king what he knows about the state of the battle. Broil means battle. As thou didst leave it, the state when you left the battlefield. Tell the king about it. Sergeant, doubtful it stood. That is, it means the battle. The battle was quite uncertain. The two sides, like as two spent swimmers. Now there is a simile used, that is, the soldiers of the two sides, they are compared to the two swimmers. As to spent means exhausted, completely exhausted, tired soldiers. Uh, that do cling together as two swimmers who completely exhausted, they cling together. Cling together means they held on to each other and choke their art and making it impossible for either to swim. Art means art of swimming. So they clung together, they held on to each other so tightly that it was impossible for either of them to swim. The merciless MacDonald, the heartless MacDonald, is fit to be called a rebel. Yeah, he is fit. It fits him right to call him a rebel. You know who is a rebel? A, one who is a traitor. He goes against the country. He's a rebel. For to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him from the Western Isles. So MacDonald is fit to be called a rebel because ever increasing vices of human nature, multiplying villainies means vices of human nature, do swarm, that is, they crowd his mind, do swarm upon him from the Western Isles. What is happening from the Western Isles? Let us see. Of kerns and gallo glasses is supplied. Okay, so uh, he was supplied with Irish foot soldiers from the Western Isles, that is from the Western Islands. He was being supplied with Irish foot soldiers of Kernsmith's foot soldiers and gallo glasses. That is, so foot soldiers have light and heavy arms. Gallo glasses have heavy arms and Kerns have light arms. And fortune on his damned quarrels smiling. And fortune, a fortune is here personified. And fortune on his damned quarrels smiling, as if fortune was smiling upon him at first, showed like a rebel's whore and appeared to be a rebel's mistress. Whore is a immoral woman. Whore. So showed like a rebel's whore, that is immoral woman or this mistress of this MacDonald. For brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name. So even though MacDonald was favored by fortune, he was not able to stand against brave Macbeth. He calls Sergeant calls him brave Macbeth because he says he deserves the name. Despising, so he disdaining, that is despising fortune, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, with his swinging or waving sword, steel is sword, which smoked with bloody execution, which smoked, that is, which reeked with the fresh blood of the newly killed soldiers, smoked with bloody execution, like valor's minion carved out his passage, like the favorite of the goddess Valor. Minion is the favorite, and goddess Valor, like the favorite of the goddess Valor, who Macbeth. He confronted this MacDonald till he faced the slave. That is, till he encountered the slave. That is, the slave is this MacDonald, which never shook hands nor bade farewell to him. So he did not shake hands with him because he is a traitor. Who? MacDonald is a traitor. So Macbeth did not shake hands with him nor bid him farewell till he unseamed him from the nave to the chaps, but simply cut him from the navel to the jaws, and then fixed his head upon our battlements, and then fixed his head upon the walls of the castle. Now, battlements means castle. Now, Duncan, on hearing this, he appreciates. He's full of praise for Macbeth. He says, "O brave cousin, O valiant cousin, O brave cousin, worthy gentleman." So it is believed that Macbeth was related to Duncan, so he calls him cousin, O valiant cousin. Sergeant. As whence the sun gins his reflection, yes, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break, just as storms and thunder breaks from the east, from where the sun rises, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come. So our misfortune comes from the same source from which our success seemed to come. Discomfort swells. That is why he said no that the battle was still uncertain. So he says, so there was misfortune coming from where they had expected success. Discomfort swells. Mark means listen. King of Scotland, listen, O King of Scotland, to my words. No sooner justice had with valor armed, no sooner had justice, that is, justice is Macbeth. So, Macbeth is justice personified. No sooner justice had with valor mind, no sooner had Macbeth succeeded in putting to flight these quick-footed rebel soldiers with valor armed, compelled these skipping kerns, that is, he compelled, he put them to flight, these rebel soldiers, skipping kerns, to trust their heels, that is, as fast as they could run, he made them run, but the Norwegian lord surveying advantage, but the king of Norway finding advantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, with furbished arms, that is, with a fresh attack of furbished arms, with fresh attack with the more arms and ammunition, and new supplies of men, with a new supply, that is, with new supplies of soldiers, began a fresh assault. He began to make a fresh attack. Don't do the changing. Duncan, dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo. So Duncan is asking, just imagine it's like a child, no, he's asking, were they not scared, our captains, both Macbeth and Banquo? Were they not frightened by this fresh attack? Sergeant, yes. So he says it very sarcastically. Yes. As sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. So they were frightened as eagles are frightened of sparrows. Are the eagles frightened of sparrows? No. But so why is he saying this, Sergeant? He is saying that in a very ironical way. Just as the eagles are frightened of sparrows, or the hare, the lion, and lions of the hare. Hare is a rabbit. If I say sooth, that is, if I speak the truth, if I say truly, I must report they were. I must say that these generals were as cannons charged with double cracks. They were like cannons loaded with double charge of shot. Double cracks means double charge of shot. So they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. So they redoubled their attacks upon the foe. Foe is enemy. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds and seemed to bathe in the blood of their enemies or memorize another Golgotha and seemed to create another Golgotha. Golgotha is referred to as fields of skulls. So just underline Golgotha. Golgotha. So Golgotha means field of skulls. So this is a battlefield, and Macbeth fought so bravely that not only he killed not only he killed the Norwegian army, but made their heads cut off, and they were all shed in the fields, like that of Golgotha. I cannot tell, but I am faint. By this time, the sergeant was very weak. Because why? Because he had been bleeding for such a long time. I cannot talk any further. So he says, I cannot tell, miss, I cannot talk any further. But I am faint. My gashes cry for help because I am exhausted and my wounds need to be tended to. Duncan. So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. Duncan says, your words are as worthy as your wounds. They smack of honor both. They both indicate your honor. Go get him, surgeons. So turning to one of the attendants, Duncan asks them to go and get for him the help of surgeons. And then somebody is coming, he says. Who is coming here? Enter Ross. So Ross, Malcolm. This is the worthy Thane of Ross. Just imagine, Malcolm has to tell the king that he is the worthy Thane of Ross. So Duncan neither recognized this sergeant nor this Thane of Ross. Now Thane is actually it is a designation uh, or title given to a feudal lord. So he was a Thane of Ross. He was a feudal lord. Lennox. What a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look. So Lennox says the expression that he has on his face clearly shows that he has something urgent to tell us. Ross, God save the king. So he is greeting the king, that is Duncan. God save the king. Duncan, whence camest thou, worthy Thane? From where have you come, you worthy Thane? From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners. So he says, Ross says, I am coming from Fife, great king, where the proud banner of the Norwegians fly high up in the sky and make our people cold with fear. Norway himself, that is, the king of Norway himself, with terrible numbers, that is, with a large number of soldiers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, who was assisted by the traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict. He launched a fearful battle against us, till that Bellona's bridegroom, till the Bellona is the Roman goddess of war. So Macbeth is being addressed as the Bellona's bridegroom. So he says that the fearful battle had been launched against us by the Norwegian king, assisted by the Thane of Cawdor. And so Lapton Proof confronted him with self-comparison. So we were on the verge of being defeated, when our brave Macbeth, who deserves to be described as the bridegroom of Bellona, the Roman goddess of war, clad in full armor, lapped in proof, that is, clad in full armor, he faced the King of Norway. He confronted the King of Norway with equal courage, with self comparisons, that is, with equal courage and strength, point against point rebellion, confronting him arm against arm, and curbing his lavish spirit, checking his lavish spirit, that is, his insolent spirit. And to conclude my story in short, the victory fell on us. It is we who emerged victorious, and that is on account of the prowess, the bravery which was displayed by Macbeth against the Norwegian king. Yeah, then Duncan, great happiness. It's a matter of great happiness. Ross, that now Swino, the Norway's king, craves composition. That is, as a result of our great victory, Swino is the name of the king of Norway. Swino, the Norway's king, now he craves for a peace treaty. Composition means a peace treaty. Nor would we deign him burial of his men. We are determined not to allow him to bury his dead soldiers till he disbursed at St. Com's Inch $10,000 to our general use. So we are not going to allow him to bury his dead soldiers at St. Com's Inch. Inch is the island. So that the name of that island is St. Com's Inch. Till he agrees to pay us $10,000 for the benefit of our soldiers. Duncan, no more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive. So Duncan says, the Thane of Cawdor will not be allowed again to deceive us, to abuse us, our bosom interest, our affectionate trust in him, and deceive us. Go, pronounce his present death. I give orders for his immediate execution, and with his former title, greet Macbeth, and with his former rank, that is the Thane of Cawdor, um, you can greet Macbeth. Ross, I'll see it done. So he says, I will see that your orders are carried out. Duncan says, what he had lost, noble Macbeth had won. It is fitting that Macbeth should be rewarded with the title. What the treacherous Thane of Cawdor lost has been won by noble Macbeth, as he has gained the affection which the Thane of Cawdor lost. Okay, that's all today. I hope you have understood the explanation. But if you have any problem, you can just write in the comment. I will solve it, help you out. Okay, but I hope that you have listened to this explanation of the first two scenes of Macbeth from the beginning till the end. Okay, children, goodbye. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you for watching.